The provocation. The vast emptiness of space stretched out before the UES horizon, a state-of-the-art human exploration vessel. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood on the bridge, her dark eyes fixed on the main view screen as it displayed an alien structure unlike anything humanity had encountered before. The massive ring-shaped object hung silently in space, its surface adorned with intricate patterns that pulsed with an otherworldly energy. "Status report," Elena commanded, her voice steadied despite the tension that gripped the bridge. Lieutenant Commander Jax Chen, the ship's science officer, responded without taking his eyes off his console. "The structure appears to be some kind of gateway, Captain. Energy readings are off the charts, but stable. No signs of immediate threat." Elena nodded, her mind racing through the protocols for first contact situations. Humanity had spread across the stars for decades, establishing colonies and outposts, but never before had they encountered such advanced alien technology. The discovery could change everything. "Open a channel," she ordered. "All frequencies." Communications Officer Zara Patel's fingers danced across her console. "Channel open, Captain." Elena took a deep breath, composing herself for what could be humanity's first words to an advanced alien civilization. "This is Captain Elena Rodriguez of the United Earth Ship Horizon. We come in peace, seeking knowledge and friendship. Please respond." Minutes ticked by with no response. The crew exchanged nervous glances as the silence stretched on. Suddenly, Jax's console erupted with alerts. "Captain, energy spike from the structure," he shouted. Before Elena could respond, a brilliant beam of light shot forth from the alien ring, engulfing the horizon. The ship shuddered violently, alarms blaring as systems overloaded. "Evasive maneuvers," Elena commanded, but it was too late. The horizon was caught in the beam's grip, pulled inexorably towards the structure. As they approached, the center of the ring shimmered and warped, revealing a swirling vortex of impossible colors. "All hands, brace for impact." Elena's voice rang out over the ship-wide comm. In the next instant, the horizon plunged into the vortex, and everything went dark. When Elena regained consciousness, she found herself lying on the bridge floor, surrounded by the groans of her awakening crew. She staggered to her feet, taking in the damage around her. Consoles sparked, emergency lights bathed the bridge in an eerie red glow, and through the view screen, she saw not the star field they had left behind, but an alien world of crystalline structures and purple skies. "Report," she croaked, helping Zara to her feet. Jax, nursing a bleeding cut on his forehead, limped to his station. "We've been transported to another solar system, Captain. Possibly even another galaxy. The ship's taken heavy damage, but life support is holding." Before Elena could process this information, the view screen flickered to life, revealing a face that sent chills down her spine. The alien was vaguely humanoid, with iridescent scales covering its features and large, multifaceted eyes that seemed to bore into her soul. "Humans," the alien's voice resonated through the ship's speakers, a mix of contempt and curiosity in its tone. "You have trespassed into the domain of the Zarketh Imperium. Your primitive vessel activated our long-dormant gateway, bringing you to us for judgment." Elena stepped forward, her chin held high. "We meant no trespass. We are explorers, seeking peaceful contact with other civilizations. We apologize for any." The alien cut her off with a dismissive gesture. "Your apologies are meaningless. You will be studied, your technology examined, and your fate decided by the Imperium. Prepare to be boarded." The transmission cut off abruptly, leaving the bridge in stunned silence. Elena's mind raced, weighing their options. They were damaged, outgunned, and in unknown territory. But she'd be damned if she'd let her crew be treated like lab rats. "Jax, what's the status of our weapons and shields?" she asked, a plan already forming in her mind. "Weapons are offline, but shields are at 30% and rising," Jax replied. Elena nodded. "Zara, send an emergency transmission back through the gateway. Use all available power. The rest of you, prepare for evasive maneuvers. We're not going down without a fight." As the crew sprang into action, Alina stared out at the alien world before them. She knew that whatever happened next would change the course of human history forever. The Zarketh had made a grave mistake in underestimating humanity's resolve. Little did they know, they had just provoked a sleeping giant. Across the vastness of space, on a small blue planet called Earth, alarms began to blare in the headquarters of the United Earth Defense Force. Admiral Viktor Petrov burst into the control room, his weathered face a mask of concern. "What's the situation?" he demanded. A young lieutenant snapped to attention. "Sir, we've received a fragmented distress call from the UES Horizon. They've encountered an advanced alien civilization and are under imminent threat." Victor's eyes narrowed. "Show me." The main screen flickered to life, displaying the broken segments of Alina's emergency transmission. As the message played out, detailing their encounter with the Zarketh and their predicament, Victor's expression hardened. "Sound the alarm," he ordered, his voice low and dangerous. "Initiate Protocol Omega. It's time to unveil our ace in the hole." As klaxons blared throughout the facility, Victor strode purposefully towards a hidden elevator. He placed his hand on a scanner, then spoke clearly. "Admiral Viktor Petrov, authorization Zulu Tango 937. The elevator descended rapidly, taking Victor deep beneath the Earth's surface. When the doors opened, he stepped out into a massive underground hangar. There, bathed in blue light, stood humanity's greatest secret, the UES Thunderstrike, a star-destroyer of unparalleled power and technology. As crews rushed to prepare the ship for launch, Victor allowed himself a grim smile. The Zarketh thought they had encountered a primitive species ripe for conquest. They were about to learn just how wrong they were. Humanity had been preparing for this day, and now, provoked beyond measure, they would unleash a force that would shake the very foundations of the galaxy. The age of human expansion had begun, and the stars themselves would tremble in its wake. Earth's secret weapon. The cavernous hangar buzzed with activity as crews swarmed over the UES Thunderstrike, preparing the massive vessel for its maiden voyage. Admiral Viktor Petrov stood at the command center, his steely gaze fixed on the myriad of screens displaying the ship's systems coming online. Captain Sarah Chen approached, her crisp uniform a stark contrast to the controlled chaos around them. "Admiral, the Thunderstrike is at 95% readiness. We await your command." Victor nodded, his expression grim. "Captain Chen, I hope you understand the gravity of this mission. The fate of humanity rests on your shoulders." Sarah's eyes gleamed with determination. "I do, sir. My crew and I are prepared for whatever lies ahead." "Good," Victor replied, "because what lies ahead is unlike anything humanity has faced before." He gestured to a holographic display of the Zarketh ring structure. "This gateway represents technology far beyond our current understanding. But the Thunderstrike..." He paused, a hint of pride in his voice. "The Thunderstrike is our answer to the unknown." As if on cue, the ship's massive engines roared to life, the sound reverberating through the underground facility. Sarah felt a thrill of excitement mixed with trepidation. The Thunderstrike was the culmination of decades of secret research and development, incorporating reverse-engineered alien technology and humanity's most advanced innovations. "Sir," a young lieutenant interrupted, "we're receiving an update from the UES Horizon's last known location. The Zarketh have begun their assault." Victor's jaw clenched. "Captain Chen, your orders are clear. Rescue the Horizon if possible, but your primary objective is to show these aliens that humanity is not to be trifled with. Use whatever means necessary." Sarah saluted sharply. "Understood, Admiral. We won't let Earth down." As Sarah made her way to the Thunderstrike's bridge, she couldn't help but marvel at the ship's interior. Sleek corridors lined with pulsing energy conduits led to a command center that looked more like something out of science fiction than a military vessel. The bridge crew snapped to attention as she entered. At ease, Sarah commanded, taking her place in the captain's chair. Status report. Her XO, Commander Rajpatal, responded promptly. All systems green, Captain. The quantum drive is primed and ready. Weapons and shields are at full capacity. Sarah nodded, her fingers dancing over the holographic controls on her armrest. All right, people. This is what we've trained for. The Zarketh think they've encountered a primitive species ripe for conquest. It's time we show them how wrong they are. The massive hangar doors above them began to slide open, revealing a starry night sky. Sarah felt a surge of anticipation as she gave the order. Engage quantum drive. Take us to the horizon's last known coordinates. The Thunderstrike's engines flared to life, and in a blink, the ship vanished from Earth's orbit, leaving behind only a faint ripple in space-time. Moments later, the Thunderstrike erupted into normal space at the edge of an unknown solar system. The scene before them was one of chaos and destruction. The UES horizon, battered and scarred, was caught in the grip of a tractor beam emanating from one of 3 Zarketh battlecruisers. Battle stations. Sarah barked. Tactical, analyze their weapons and defenses. Comms, try to establish contact with the horizon. As her crew sprang into action, Sarah studied the alien ships. They were beautiful in a terrifying way, their hulls shimmering with an almost organic quality, but she had no time to admire them. The element of surprise was on their side, and she intended to use it. Captain, her tactical officer reported, the Zarketh ships have energy shielding unlike anything we've encountered. Their weapons appear to be some form of plasma-based technology. Sarah's mind raced, formulating a plan. Understood. Weapons, prepare a full spread of quantum torpedoes. Target their shield generators. Helm, plot an intercept course. Let's introduce ourselves. The Thunderstrike surged forward, its advanced stealth systems keeping it undetected until the last moment. As they closed in, Sarah opened a channel to the alien fleet. Attention Zarketh vessels. This is Captain Sarah Chen of the UES Thunderstrike. Release the Earth ship immediately, or face the consequences of your aggression. For a moment, there was silence. Then, a familiar alien face appeared on the view screen, its multifaceted eyes widening in surprise. Impossible, the Zarketh commander hissed. Your species does not possess such technology. Sarah allowed herself a grim smile. There's a lot you don't know about us. This is your final warning. Release our ship, or we open fire. The alien's expression shifted to one of contempt. You dare threaten the might of the Zarketh Imperium. Your arrogance will be your downfall, human. Have it your way. Sarah replied coldly. Weapons, fire at will. The Thunderstrike's quantum torpedoes streaked across space, their warheads phasing in and out of reality until the moment of impact. The Zarketh shields, advanced as they were, stood no chance against weapons that bypassed conventional spacetime. Explosions blossomed across the lead battlecruiser as its shield generators overloaded. The alien ships, caught off guard by the sudden attack, scrambled to regroup. Direct hit, the tactical officer shouted. Their shields are down. Sarah didn't waste a moment. Helm, bring us between the horizon and that ship. Extend our shields around them. Weapons, target their engines and weapon systems. Disable, don't destroy. The Thunderstrike moved with a grace that belied its size, positioning itself protectively in front of the damaged Earth ship. Its advanced shields easily absorbed the retaliatory fire from the Zarketh vessels. As the battle raged on, Sarah noticed something peculiar about the alien ship's movements. They seemed to be maneuvering in a specific pattern, almost as if. Evasive maneuvers now, she shouted, her instincts screaming danger. The Thunderstrike lurched to the side just as a massive energy beam lanced out from the alien ring structure, narrowly missing the Earth ships. The beam caught one of the Zarketh cruisers instead, vaporizing it instantly. What the hell was that? Raj exclaimed, steadying himself against his console. Sarah's mind raced. They were trying to herd us into position. That ring isn't just a gateway. It's a weapon. She turned to her communications officer. Get me a channel to the horizon. We need to coordinate our escape. As the crew worked to establish contact, Sarah stared at the alien ring, its surface now pulsing with ominous energy. They had won this skirmish, but she knew the real battle was just beginning. The Zarketh had underestimated humanity once. She doubted they'd make the same mistake again. In the depths of space, as two Earth ships faced off against an alien armada, the fate of humanity hung in the balance. But for the first time since this conflict began, there was hope. The Thunderstrike had proven that humanity was not helpless, that they could stand toe-to-toe with the advanced Zarketh. As Sarah prepared for the next phase of the battle, she allowed herself a moment of grim satisfaction. The aliens had provoked humanity, thinking they were dealing with primitive beings. Now, they would face the full fury of a species that had spent centuries preparing for this very moment. The stars themselves seemed to hold their breath, waiting to see what would unfold next in this cosmic clash of civilizations. The battle begins. The bridge of the UES Thunderstrike thrummed with tension as Captain Sarah Chen assessed their precarious situation. The damaged UES horizon was now safely enveloped within the Thunderstrike's advanced shields, but they were far from out of danger. The remaining Zarketh battlecruisers regrouped, their hulls shimmering with an otherworldly energy that hinted at untapped power. "Status report," Sarah demanded, her eyes never leaving the tactical display. Commander Raj Patel responded promptly, his voice steady despite the chaos. "Shields holding at 82%, Captain. The horizon is secure, but their systems are critically damaged. They can't jump." Sarah's mind raced, calculating their options. The alien ring structure loomed ominously in the background, its surface pulsing with barely contained energy. They couldn't risk another blast from that monstrosity. "Comms, have you established contact with the horizon?" she asked. Lieutenant Zara Ayala nodded, her fingers dancing over her console. "Yes, Captain. Audio only. Their visual systems are down." "Patch them through," Sarah ordered. Captain Elena Rodriguez's voice crackled over the speakers, strained but determined. "Thunderstrike, this is Horizon. I don't know who you are or where you came from, but your timing is impeccable." Sarah allowed herself a small smile. "Horizon, this is Captain Chen. We're here to get you out of this mess. What's your status?" "Critical," Elena replied grimly. "We've got multiple hull breaches, life support is failing, and our drive is completely fried. We're sitting ducks out here." Sarah's expression hardened. They couldn't leave the horizon behind, but they also couldn't risk staying in this kill zone. "Understood, Horizon. Prepare for emergency evacuation. We're bringing your crew aboard." As she gave the order, the tactical display lit up with new alerts. The Zarketh ships were on the move, adopting a formation that Sarah didn't recognize but instinctively knew was dangerous. "Tactical analysis," she barked. Lieutenant Kira Chen, no relation, responded immediately. "They're charging some kind of linked weapon system, Captain. Energy readings are off the charts." Sarah's mind raced. They needed time to evacuate the horizon, but they also needed to neutralize this new threat. An idea struck her, bold and risky, but potentially game-changing. "Helm, plot a course directly between those ships," she ordered. "Weapons, prepare to fire quantum disruptors on my mark. Let's see how they like a taste of their own medicine." The bridge crew exchanged nervous glances, but no one questioned the order. They had trained for the impossible, and now was the time to prove their mettle. As the Thunderstrike maneuvered into position, the Zarketh ships unleashed their combined assault. A blinding beam of energy, far more powerful than anything they had encountered so far, lanced towards the Earth ships. "Now," Sarah shouted. The Thunderstrike's quantum disruptors fired, their exotic particles interacting with the alien energy beam in a spectacular display of light and power. For a moment, it seemed as if reality itself was tearing at the seams. When the blinding flash subsided, Sarah blinked in astonishment. The Zarketh beam had been reflected back on their own ships, overloading their systems and leaving them temporarily disabled. It worked, Raj breathed, his voice a mix of awe and relief. Sarah allowed herself a moment of satisfaction before snapping back into action. Excellent work, everyone. Now let's not waste this opportunity. Continue evacuation procedures for the horizon. Tactical, keep those alien ships in your sights. I want to know the moment they start to recover. As the Thunderstrike's transporters worked overtime to beam aboard the Horizon's crew, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that this victory was only temporary. The Zarketh had underestimated them once, but they were quick learners. The next round would be even more challenging. Her suspicions were confirmed moments later when Lieutenant Chen called out, "Captain, I'm detecting a massive energy buildup from the ring structure." Sarah's blood ran cold. They had been so focused on the ships, they had almost forgotten about the alien superweapon. "Evasive maneuvers," she ordered. "Get us out of here now." The Thunderstrike's engines roared to life, pushing the massive ship to its limits as it maneuvered away from the impending blast. But Sarah knew they couldn't outrun whatever was coming. They needed a miracle. As if in answer to her unspoken prayer, a new alert sounded on the tactical display. "Captain," Kira reported, her voice tinged with excitement, "I'm detecting a weakness in the ring's energy matrix. There's a fluctuation in its power distribution, right at the focal point of the weapon." Sarah's mind raced, piecing together a daring plan. "Can we target that point with our main cannon?" Kira nodded hesitantly. "Yes, but at this range, the precision required is, well, it's nearly impossible." "Nearly isn't good enough," Sarah replied, her voice steel. "We make the impossible happen. That's what we were built for." She turned to her weapons officer. "Charge the main cannon. Pour everything we've got into it. We've got one shot at this." As the Thunderstrike systems diverted all available power to its main weapon, the alien ring structure began to glow with an intensity that made the stars themselves seem dim in comparison. The very fabric of space seemed to warp around it, a testament to the incomprehensible energies at play. "Cannon charged, Captain," the weapons officer reported, his voice tense. Sarah took a deep breath, knowing that the next few seconds would determine not just their fate, but potentially the fate of all humanity. "Fire," she commanded. A lance of pure energy erupted from the Thunderstrike, streaking across space towards the alien ring. For a heart-stopping moment, it seemed as if the shot would miss its mark. But at the last possible instant, the beam curved ever so slightly, guided by the Thunderstrike's impossibly advanced targeting systems. The result was spectacular and terrifying in equal measure. As the Thunderstrike's energy beam struck the ring's weak point, the alien structure's weapon discharge backfired catastrophically. A shockwave of unimaginable power rippled out, engulfing the disabled Zarketh ships and reducing them to atoms in an instant. The Thunderstrike rocked violently as the edge of the shockwave reached them, but their shields held, barely. As the chaos subsided, an eerie silence fell over the bridge. "Status report," Sarah demanded, her voice hoarse. Raj responded, his usual calm demeanor shaken but intact. "Shields at 15%, multiple systems damaged but functional. The Horizon's crew is safely aboard. But Captain, the ring structure, it's gone." Sarah stared at the view screen, where moments ago the alien superweapon had dominated the starscape. Now there was nothing but debris and fading energy signatures. "We did it," she breathed, allowing herself a moment of relief. But her reprieve was short-lived as a new realization dawned. But if that was their frontline defense, what else do the Zarketh have waiting for us? As if in answer to her question, long-range sensors began picking up multiple signals. The Zarketh were mobilizing, and in numbers that made their previous encounter seem like a mere skirmish. Sarah straightened in her chair, her resolve hardening. They had won this battle against impossible odds, proving that humanity was far more formidable than the Zarketh had anticipated. But the war, she knew, was far from over. "All hands," she announced shipwide, "prepare for prolonged engagement. We've bloodied their nose, but now the real fight begins. The fate of Earth, of all humanity, rests on what we do next." As the crew of the Thunderstrike steeled themselves for the challenges ahead, Sarah couldn't help but feel a surge of pride. Humanity had been provoked, pushed to the brink by an alien force that thought them weak. Now they would show the galaxy exactly what humans were capable of when united against a common threat. The battle for Earth's future had only just begun, and Sarah Chen intended to make sure it was a battle that would be remembered across the stars for millennia to come. Turning the tide. The UES Thunderstrike hung in space, a testament to human ingenuity and determination amidst the debris of the destroyed Zarketh ring structure. Captain Sarah Chen stood at the center of the bridge, her posture rigid as she surveyed the incoming data on the main view screen. The victory they had achieved was significant, but the war was far from over. "Status update," Sarah commanded, her voice steady despite the tension that permeated the air. Commander Rajpatul responded promptly, his fingers dancing over his console. "Repairs are underway, Captain. Shields are back up to 60%, and we've managed to reroute power to critical systems. The Horizon's crew is settled in, and Captain Rodriguez is requesting to speak with you." Sarah nodded. "Patch her through to my ready room. Kira, what's the status on those incoming Zarketh signals?" Lieutenant Kira Chen's face was grim as she replied. "Multiple warships detected, Captain. They're approaching in a standard attack formation. ETA 20 minutes. "Understood. Raj, you have the bridge." "I need to speak with Captain Rodriguez," Sarah said, turning towards her ready room. As the door slid shut behind her, she took a moment to collect her thoughts before activating the comm screen. Captain Elena Rodriguez's face appeared, looking haggard but determined. "Captain Chen, I can't thank you enough for the rescue. But I have to ask, what kind of ship is the Thunderstrike? I've never seen anything like it in the Earth fleet." Sarah's expression remained neutral. "That's classified, Captain. But what I can tell you is that the Thunderstrike represents Earth's contingency plan. We've been preparing for this day for longer than you might think." Elena's eyes widened slightly, but she nodded in understanding. "Fair enough. What's our next move?" "The Zarketh won't take this defeat lightly." "No, they won't," Sarah agreed, "which is why we need every advantage we can get. Your encounter with them was longer than ours. Did you notice anything, any weakness we might be able to exploit?" Elena was quiet for a moment, her brow furrowed in concentration. Then her eyes lit up. "There might be something. During our initial scan of their ships, we detected an unusual fluctuation in their shield harmonics. It was subtle, but it seemed to correspond with their weapons discharge." Sarah leaned forward, intrigued. "Go on." "We didn't have time to analyze it fully," Elena continued, "but I suspect their shield and weapon systems are more intimately linked than ours. If we could find a way to disrupt that link, we might be able to create a cascading failure in their defensive systems." Sarah finished, her mind already racing with possibilities. "Excellent work, Captain. This could be the edge we need." As Sarah returned to the bridge, a plan was already forming in her mind. "Kira, I want a full spectral analysis of the Zarketh shields and weapon systems. Look for any correlation in their energy signatures. Raj, work with engineering to modify our quantum disruptors. We're going to try something new." The bridge crew worked feverishly as the minutes ticked by. The approaching Zarketh fleet loomed ever larger on their sensors, a testament to the alien empire's vast resources. "Captain," Kira called out, excitement in her voice, "I think we found it. There's a distinct resonance pattern between their shields and weapons. If we can match our disruptors to that frequency, we can turn their own technology against them." Sarah finished. "Excellent work, everyone. Now let's put it to the test." As the Zarketh fleet entered weapons range, Sarah's voice rang out clear and confident. All hands, battle stations. This is the moment we've prepared for. Remember, we're not just fighting for ourselves, but for the future of all humanity. The space between the opposing forces lit up with weapons fire. The Zarketh, confident in their superior numbers, pressed their attack aggressively. But the Thunderstrike was ready. Now, Sarah commanded, "Fire disruptors." Beams of energy lanced out from the Thunderstrike, their frequency precisely calibrated to the Zarketh systems. The effect was immediate and devastating. As the beams struck the lead Zarketh ships, their shields flickered and failed, the disruption spreading like a virus through their formation. "It's working," Raj exclaimed. "Their shields are collapsing." Sarah allowed herself a grim smile. "Press the advantage. Target their weapon systems and propulsion. Disable, don't destroy. We want prisoners." The battle that followed was unlike anything the universe had ever seen. The Thunderstrike moved with impossible grace for a ship its size, its advanced technology allowing it to outmaneuver the larger Zarketh fleet. One by one, the alien ships fell silent, their systems overloaded by the precisely targeted disruption. As the last Zarketh vessel surrendered, a cheer went up from the Thunderstrike's crew. They had done it. Against all odds, they had turned the tide of the battle. But Sarah knew their work was far from over. "Open a channel to the Zarketh flagship," she ordered. A moment later, the alien commander appeared on screen, its multifaceted eyes filled with a mixture of rage and disbelief. "This is Captain Sarah Chen of the UES Thunderstrike," Sarah began, her voice firm. "Your fleet is disabled, your superweapon destroyed. Surrender now, and we can end this conflict without further bloodshed." The Zarketh commander hissed, its alien features contorting. "You think this is over, human? You have no idea of the forces you're dealing with. The Imperium will not rest until your species is eradicated." Sarah's expression hardened. "Then you leave us no choice. We came seeking peace, but you've shown us that the only language you understand is force. So be it. Let this be a message to your Imperium. Humanity will not bow. We will not break. And we will defend ourselves with every means at our disposal." As the transmission cut off, Sarah turned to her crew. "Prepare to jump to the coordinates I'm sending to the helm. It's time we took this fight to the enemy." The Thunderstrike's quantum drive hummed to life, tearing a hole in the fabric of space-time. As they prepared to jump, Sarah couldn't help but reflect on how quickly everything had changed. In the span of a few days, humanity had gone from a species on the brink of destruction to a force that had the Zarketh Imperium on the run. But she knew the hardest battles were yet to come. The Zarketh would regroup, would bring to bear weapons and technologies they had yet to encounter. But for the first time since this conflict began, Sarah felt a glimmer of hope. Humanity had proven its worth among the stars. They had shown that ingenuity, courage, and determination could overcome even the most advanced alien technology. As the Thunderstrike leaped into quantum space, carrying with it the hopes and dreams of all humanity, Sarah Chen made a silent vow. No matter what challenges lay ahead, no matter what horrors the Zarketh might unleash, they would face them head-on. For Earth, for humanity, for the future of all they held dear. The tide had turned, and the true battle for humanity's place in the cosmos was about to begin. Victory and aftermath. The UES Thunderstrike emerged from quantum space in a blaze of light, its hull gleaming against the backdrop of an alien star system. Captain Sarah Chen stood at the helm, her eyes fixed on the main view screen as it displayed their target, the Zarketh homeworld, Zarkoria. "Status report," Sarah commanded, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. Commander Raj Patel responded promptly. "All systems operational, Captain. Shields at maximum. Weapons primed and ready." Sarah nodded, her gaze never leaving the screen. The Zarketh homeworld was a sight to behold, a massive gas giant surrounded by a complex network of orbital stations and shipyards. At the center of it all loomed the Imperium's seat of power, a space station so vast it dwarfed even the Thunderstrike. Life signs? Sarah asked, already knowing the answer but needing to hear it. Lieutenant Kira Chen's voice was grim as she replied, "Billions, Captain. The orbital structures alone house more Zarketh than the entire human population of Earth." A hush fell over the bridge as the crew contemplated the enormity of what they faced. They had come seeking victory, but the cost of that victory now seemed almost too high to bear. Sarah's voice cut through the silence, firm and resolute. "We didn't come here to commit genocide. Our mission is to end this war, not to become the monsters we're fighting against." She turned to her communications officer. "Open a channel to the Imperium. It's time we talked." Moments later, the familiar face of the Zarketh Supreme Commander filled the view screen. Its multifaceted eyes glittered with a mixture of rage and fear. "Humans," it hissed, "your audacity knows no bounds. You dare to bring your war to the heart of our empire." Sarah stood tall, her chin raised in defiance. "We bring an end to the war you started. Your fleets are in disarray, your superweapon destroyed. We have the power to reduce your homeworld to ash, but that's not why we're here." The Supreme Commander's mandibles clicked in agitation. "Then why have you come, human? To gloat? To demand our surrender?" "To offer you a choice," Sarah replied, her voice level. "Continue this war, and we will be forced to use every weapon at our disposal to defend ourselves. Or we can find a path to peace, one that ensures the survival and prosperity of both our species." The alien leader's eyes narrowed. "You speak of peace, yet you threaten us with annihilation. Why should we trust you?" Sarah's expression softened slightly. "Because if we wanted you destroyed, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Humanity has proven we can stand against you in battle, but we'd rather stand with you in peace." As if to emphasize her point, Sarah nodded to Kira. A moment later, the Thunderstrike's weapons powered down, its shields dropping. The Supreme Commander's eyes widened in surprise. You're defenseless." "Why?" "To show you that we're serious about peace," Sarah replied. "We're taking the first step. The question is, are you brave enough to take the next one?" For a long moment, silence reigned. The fate of two species hung in the balance. The next word spoken would determine the course of galactic history. Finally, the Supreme Commander spoke, its voice softer than before. Perhaps we have misjudged your kind, human. You have shown courage and honor where we expected only savagery. We are willing to discuss terms." A collective sigh of relief swept through the Thunderstrike's bridge. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. "Then let's begin. Not as enemies, but as two species seeking a common future among the stars." The negotiations that followed were long and often tense, but ultimately fruitful. The Zarketh, impressed by humanity's resolve and capacity for both great power and great mercy, agreed to a ceasefire. Both sides committed to cultural exchange programs, scientific cooperation, and a mutual defense pact against future threats. As the Thunderstrike prepared to return to Earth, Sarah stood in her ready room, gazing out at the stars. The door chimed, and Raj entered. "Captain," he said, a hint of awe in his voice, "I still can't believe we pulled it off. We came here expecting a final battle, and instead, we found a new beginning." Sarah finished, turning to face her XO with a smile. "That's the thing about humanity, Raj. Our greatest strength isn't our technology or our weapons. It's our capacity to imagine a better future and our determination to make that future a reality." Raj nodded, his expression thoughtful. "Do you think it'll last? This peace we've brokered?" Sarah's gaze returned to the stars. "I don't know. But I do know that we've taken the first step towards a new era. An era where humanity stands not alone, but as part of a greater galactic community." As the Thunderstrike jumped into quantum space, carrying news of peace back to a waiting Earth, Sarah couldn't help but feel a sense of pride and hope. They had been provoked, pushed to the brink of extinction. But in the end, humanity had proven itself worthy of the stars. The challenge that lay ahead, building trust, fostering understanding, and forging a lasting peace, would be no less daunting than the war they had just fought. But Sarah knew that if any species was up to that challenge, it was humanity. For in the face of the unknown, in the depths of adversity, humanity had shown its true strength, not just in its ability to fight, but in its capacity for compassion, its drive for innovation, and its unwavering hope for a better tomorrow. As Earth came into view, a blue jewel suspended in the vastness of space, Sarah Chen allowed herself a moment of reflection. The Zarketh had sought to conquer humanity, believing them to be primitive and weak. Instead, they had awakened a sleeping giant, a species capable of not just surviving among the stars, but of reshaping the very fabric of galactic society. The future was uncertain, filled with both promise and peril, but one thing was clear: humanity's journey among the stars had only just begun, and the universe would never be the same again.